John, your character, you are a police officer. Your name is Gilbert Puntz. And that's not the only great name in the show, but Puntz was the name that you've long wanted to find into a television show.
Yes. There's in the writer's room at SNL, we try to just write stupid names to make the other writers laugh. Not you necessarily. It bothers you, doesn't it?
Yeah, I hate it.
And then you would cut them.
But I originally wrote this for David Spade, a character named Kane Puntz.
Kane.
Who was teaching the craft of kissing, and his whole infomercial was just about him trying to get women to come to his workshop to practice kissing. So the name Gilbert seemed a little more friendly for this character, but Puntz has been something that I've wanted to get put somewhere for a long time.
You've worked with each other, you've written for each other, maybe not as explicitly written for each other as you have now, but you know each other's voices well. Was there times that you were writing lines that you would only ever write for Paula, and Paula, were there lines that John wrote that delighted you more than others?
Yeah, any writing anything with Gilbert's character doing the fun, because John can just do that sort of the sort of low self-esteem based, like, misunderstanding and then sort of reiterating and then trying to make sure he's got the right instructions. It was such a funny game with Gilbert, and such a homage to sort of a Barney Fife type thing. And so anytime I wrote anything that was coming out of John's mouth, I could hear it like he was sitting on my shoulder.
And the same thing with Paula. Like, it's fun to make her like scream when she gets startled, have her go like, "What in the squirrels?" her voice just, it's right there. Yeah.
You also, JB Smoove is also in the show, also a writer with us back in the day, and a person who is both a joy to write for and a joy to watch improvise, I would imagine.
Oh, he's beyond funny. He's a legend in the pitch meetings at SNL, because it would get to him and he would just very leisurely start pitching. You know, everyone was so nervous in there kind of meeting the host, and they didn't have anything loaded up about what's an idea because it's Monday and they've only had like a day and a half to think about it. So they're like, you know, freaking out. And then it would get to him and he'd just have the floor, you know, he'd just be like, yeah, it's something like a 15-foot grill. You know, those grills, I was like a 15-foot gas grill. And he would just keep going and people would be dying. And I've also always said about JB that he's the only person I've ever seen audition where Lorne put his head down on the table. He was laughing so hard. He had to like at a comedy club, and he had to like put his head down on a table and laugh. And Haley Magnus is my niece, and she's like 6 feet tall. It's just a wonderful group of eccentric characters. We love it.
And you guys have taken advantage of the Quibi platform with some, there's some light nudity, which is, you know, I am a great appreciator of.
Yeah, we're not going to say who's getting naked. It's either me or John, but let's just say it's a nice set. It's a nice heaving set that's revealed.
It could also be both of us, Paula.
It's both of us. All I know is when we did the scene, we end up both possibly being naked, possibly nipples to the breeze, and we were crying down into our bosoms laughing because we were doing this. And we wrote it, so we couldn't blame anyone, that we were just out in the open air with
and this is a thing, you know, now more than ever, which is, I think, a welcome change. This is taken very seriously when there's nudity on the set.
Oh, yeah.
And yet you both were incapable, because it was self-inflicted, you wrote it for yourselves, incapable of taking it seriously.
Yeah, we had that whole meeting.
Yep.
Everybody, we cleared the set of any non-essential people. I was very, very serious at first, and then I take my shirt off to cover Paula, and then that's when she starts laughing at me because she's just looking at my chest laughing, and then it was
just because the weight of it. Can I compliment your chest? Is that, do I have permission? He just has a really good chest, and he's got a nice, you know, hair pattern, but I don't see it that often, and so I just realized in a moment, it was one of those camera moments that just is the focus pull, where all of a sudden I'm like, oh, I'm standing out in the cold with like 2 crew members and a coyote in the back lot of Universal watching us stand there naked and shoot something. But it's definitely worth it to ride the Mapleworth train to get to that part.
You do have an incredible cast, the 2 of you, JB, Haley, and then a ton of super fun cameos of friends that you guys have made over your 2 decades in comedy.
Yeah, we got super lucky with everybody who was able to do it. It was awesome.
Just a parade of heavy hitter people.
Yeah, we had
Tina and Andy Samberg and
Maya Rudolph,
and
so
Fred
well.
Armisen and
so well we can't.
Karen Holtz and Nicole Byer, and
You've never met any of these people. You barely can remember their names.
that one that's in that one thing.
I am.
Have televisions.
Oh, you don't. Oh, that's right. You guys are readers. I'm so excited for the show. Paul, I should also mention I'm so excited that season 3 of AP Bio is about to start. Those episodes are fantastic. That's coming on September on Peacock. And John, we were busting each other's chops a little before this started. I'm genuinely excited to hopefully see you again soon back at work.
Yes, me as well.
All right, I love you both.
Love you. Stay safe.
Thank you. Stay safe.